He is a very reputable astronomer, and yet he has felt able to come out and support his contention that there are UFO, flying saucers, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would he not be willing to at least give you a good hearing on this?
Well, I talked to J. Allen Hynek on this show about a year ago, and we did touch upon the things that are on the moon as an astronomer. And he, as I recall, said that he was aware of a great deal of body of research about, particularly from the NASA photographs, both from the Apollo missions and from the orbiters that were up there, that there is a lot to support some of the contentions. He thought that perhaps there's a lot of reaching going on for those people who had looked at them and analyzed them, that they wanted to see some things that perhaps could be explained naturally, but there were also a lot of very unusual features that certainly suggest that there is a lot of engineered artifacts up there.
Well, Fred, can you tell me, have you approached any people such as Dr. Hynek?
Well, that's who I was talking about.
No, I'm talking to Fred.
Oh, to Fred. Okay.
Yes, well, I have not approached him, but I know people that have given him my book, and I'm still waiting for a report on his part.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So far, the only scientists that have read my book are Dr. Bell and a couple of other people back east, but not really the top people that I would like to. I'm working on that right now in the promotion of this book.
Okay, I think that's an important thing for you to do. I'll get off here. I just want to tell you, Bill, if you want to put me on hold for your producer, I can give you a lead for a scientist who had a weekly program dealing with science on another radio station. He's heard your program, and he's done work in astronomy. He had a paper published recently in the journal Nature, and I would think he might be interested in either appearing on your program with Fred or something of that nature.
All right, very good. We will put you on hold, and would you get that information from him?
Sure.
Thank you very much, Craig. Appreciate that. Craig's one of the bright young men that calls in. I have a couple of them out there that really put you to the test every time they call in. Love to see it. We'll be back in just a moment with Fred Steckling. I'm Bill Jenkins. Okay? We'll make another appearance on the Open Mind Show, and we will go very deeply into the latest in the free energy devices that are out, the new free energy sources, the tachyon field converter. Some extremely exciting things are happening in the field of energy, and why the whole electromagnetic theory is being changed, and whatever it is, we may touch on those exotic new Tesla weapons that both the United States and the Soviet Union have that make the neutron bomb look like a firecracker compared to what we really can do. Tom Bearden next week. Following that, Shirley MacLaine will be in studio, and we'll have a chance to talk to her about her metaphysical experiences as she's had in her new book called Out on the Limb. Shirley is postponing a trip to Europe to spend a couple of hours with you and me. That'll be on the 1st of October. Dr. Lawrence Boren will be here following week, and then we'll have Bob Monroe of the Monroe Institute of Applied Sciences. We'll get back again to the phenomenon of the out-of-body experience, moving into the past and the future in that mode. How do you get the book, Fred? Let's give that address one more time, or how they can contact you if they want to find out more about it.
For those people that are interested to obtain this book and to get this information of the bases on the moon, they may write to GAF International Publishers, P.O. Box 1722, Vista, California, 92083. The price of the book is $9.95 and $1 for postage and handling, and I can be reached through that address as well.
Alien Bases on the Moon.
And I'm open for constructive criticism, and I will try to get together with these people that have constructive criticism and can show me photographs where I made an error, which is possible. None of us are perfect. There are no perfect people living on Earth or anyplace else, I believe.
That's what I keep telling George Green and Wally Sherman around here.
Not even those with a degree are perfect.
No, they're not. Okay, Bob, you're on. What's on your mind?
Hello, Mr. Jenkins and Fred.
Yes.
First, I want to thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Your show is good therapy for our minds. It takes our minds off of world problems.
Oh, I tell you, I get so tired of those world problems, I'd rather deal with what's going on the moon just for a change.
I like it. My question is, could they place a telescope on the moon so that telescopes on Earth could target into the moon telescope that is mobile and search the moon and other planets so we could see some of these things on television?
They sure could, but they won't.
They won't do it.
They won't do it.
We've made some inroads. We've got a telescope in space now, and thanks to it, we were able to discover, would you believe, another solar system, which is in orbit around the star Vega. Hopefully, I think one of the far-reaching plans of NASA is to put a good telescope on the moon, which will give us, a much clearer picture of where we are and what is out there.
the purpose would be for Palomar, Caltech, and others to gain whatever they could in further science. But then we could also probably see it on television.
Well, during the landings of the Apollo flights, there have been objects or vehicles or aerial vehicles or UFOs, what we want to call them, have been seen, sometimes for a few seconds floating around behind the Apollo lander. And then after a rerun, a few minutes later, this was cut out, you see. So...
well, I certainly thank you for the show and all of the news that I get here.
You see, I have a report here which is kind of an interesting one. It says here when Apollo 12 landed on the moon, they walked over to the Surveyor spacecraft, Surveyor 3, which had landed by remote control 2.5 years earlier. This Surveyor was completely sterilized on Earth. Yet when the camera was taken back to Earth, they found living bacteria, whole colonies of them, streaming outward from the Surveyor 3 camera.
I'm sure the people want to get all the news they can get, even from your book.
Well, I think we deserve all the news we can get because we paid for it.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Bob, for your question. And I think we have Dan on the line. Dan?
Yes, hi, Bill, Fred. I was wondering if Fred is familiar with the rumor that I became aware of in 1979, an article in the newspaper which stated that when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, the Apollo 11, landed on the moon, when the module landed at the bottom of a crater, 2 alien spacecraft appeared at the crater rim, and then furthermore, Buzz Aldrin took movie film of these craft, and that they departed just before Armstrong stepped on the moon. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, Maurice Chatelain, the NASA scientist who wrote this book that I mentioned earlier, he stated that too. And a couple of other people have did some research. They found that whenever the astronauts were transmitting to Earth, they did not use the proper channels or the communication channels, but they used other channels such as the ones that transmit heartbeat or the medical channels.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Fred Bell, who studied some of these tapes that were released by the Freedom of Information Act later on, he said that definitely there's evidence that they had encountered the UFOs on the moon.
Mm-hmm. It also states that there were noise disturbances on their radios. What do you think that is? Is that possibly the aliens trying to communicate to the astronauts, or just communication being intercepted?
Perhaps being intercepted, yes.
Uh-huh.
I have no way of knowing. I do remember that Buzz Aldrin was here on KABC not too long ago and categorically denied anything unusual went on up there.
Mm-hmm.
It says that since 1977, the Russians have known about this. What is their research into this material? Are they keeping up with it? Are they researching it?
Well, what I received from Europe and information, they are very serious about UFO research. Of course, they accused the United States in the early days that we sent them secret weapons. Of course, if we had weapons like this, then we wouldn't have to spend $200 billion for defense if we had it made. But they are right now also very seriously researching this, and they have had many sightings in the Soviet Union that leak out, so the Iron Curtain. But not that much is known, should be known, because they're very secretive.
Could this be linked to the reason why the Russians have never really been determined to land on the moon, maybe out of fear, or, are they...
Lack of skill as much as anything else, I think.
Yeah, well, that's all speculations. It's hard to say. Perhaps they have been there and didn't tell us, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But they had many spacecraft that reached the moon as well, unmanned ones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dan?
Okay, thank you very much, Bill.
Right, thank you for your call. We have Diana on the line. Hi, Diana. I thought we did. Diana, you there?
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay, I'm calling you about two things. One is about your Castaic experience, which you haven't told us about yet, and we've got to hear about that. And the other one is that I feel that there's not only a conspiracy here in the United States to withhold information from the public,